Hi, Trisha Warner here with your post-sport static stretching sequence. We're going to hold each one of these positions for a 20 to 30 count to make sure we give our muscles time to lengthen and stretch out into this position. It's best to stretch when you're warm, so right after the activity is the best time, or right after that hot shower right after the activity. You can do this sequence in sneakers or in bare feet, whatever works well or whatever you have going on. You can do this right on the turf or the court right after your workout, or you can do it, like I said, a little later on. We're gonna start in proposal kneeling. It's a good idea to stretch every day. So if you find yourself being tight, work it into your daily routine, not just after sport. So we're gonna start in a proposal kneel position to open up the hip flexor here. So we're going to reach up the same arm as the knee that's down, and then you're gonna side bend away from that knee that's down and reaching up and over to the side. At the same time, you're gonna push your hips forward. The stretch is meant to be felt in here. If you're feeling it in your back, you need to engage your core and your abs a little bit more to feel the stretch down the front of the thigh. And we're holding. You can deepen the stretch by pressing your hips forward a little bit more and really pull that belly button in to support your back. Very good. From here, we're gonna come back up to a straight kneeling position. You're gonna lift the back foot up, grab the top of the toes, keeping your balance. Draw the heel up towards your rear end as you tuck the pelvis under. So you don't want to arch your back like this. You want to tuck your pelvis under and feel the stretch in the front of the thigh there. This is deepening the stretch into the quad here. And breathe and maintain your balance. It helps to stare at something that's not moving. As I look back and forth, it makes the balancing a little more challenging. And that should do it good. Make sure you're breathing evenly throughout all these exercises. From here, we're going to sit our hips back. Try to keep the foot down if you can. You're gonna sit your hips back, lengthening out the hamstring in this position. So go ahead and reach that tailbone far that way. If you keep the foot down, you'll get a nice stretch in the anterior tibialis, which is a really good muscle to stretch if you're prone to shin splints. Now we're gonna come forward and we're gonna deepen this hip flexor stretch by scooting the knee back a little bit, straightening the leg and bringing the top of the foot down to the mat. We're gonna lower our elbows down to the mat into a little Spider-Man stretch here. So I'm leaning my chest down towards the floor. If that's too much, you can stay up on your hands, and hopefully you can see the position of my legs as I'm coming down. And then pressing back out of that position. From here, we're going to come into a little twist stretch. So I'm going to lift my back knee up off the floor, twist around towards my front knee, lowering the straight leg back down to the floor. And my front leg is just in front of me a little bit. You can wiggle it to where it's comfortable. You can kind of grab your knee and give yourself a little bit of a glute stretch here. And then as you wait for these muscles to relax, you can focus on your breath. Breathing in and out. Great, lift your hip back up, coming back into your deep lunge position. You're gonna twist and face the other direction and come into a nice groin inner thigh stretch. So you wanna try to get this heel down. The other foot is going to rotate so the toes are pointing upwards. And we'll pause here for a little stretch. 20 to 30 counts is appropriate. And you may find that your sits bones are sinking a little further down towards the mat as you hold the stretch there. You can bring your hands here, you can bring them to the floor. Really, you want to feel the stretch down the inside of the thigh here. And breathe. Always breathe. And let's go ahead and switch over to the other side. Let the straight leg now rotate so the toes are up to the ceiling. Trying to keep this heel down. If you can't, you can lean forward a little bit and keep it up, but try to get those sits bones down. You may feel like you're gonna fall over like this. Try to, if you do, just get back up. Great, now we're gonna come back to that twist stretch. So I'm gonna rotate away from you, bringing my straight leg hip to the floor, hugging the knee in front, and feeling the stretch down the left side of the leg and back of the knee that's, the hip of the knee that's bent. And from here, we're gonna come back into Spider-Man. You're gonna lift your hip up, widen your stance a little bit, lower the back knee to the mat, top of the foot comes to the mat, and then you're gonna lower yourself down to your elbows if this range of motion is available. If this is not available, you're gonna stay up on your hands. I just want to show you how to deepen the stretch if that flexibility is there for you. And you can kind of go back and forth. Wherever you feel like you need it. And then press your hips back, straightening the front knee. Trying to keep your foot down on the mat as you shift your hips back, straightening this front knee. Let me shift towards you a little bit more. There we go. And trying to keep that foot down for a nice stretch down the front of the shins. Trying to even out your hips in this position too. So I'm thinking about the leg that's straight. I want that hip bone reaching to the mat, your sits bone almost, and you're kind of sticking your rear end out and lifting your tailbone. If you let your tailbone round like this, you're not going to feel it as much. But if you really kind of kick your tailbone out and try to lift your pelvis this way, you'll feel it more. Great, and then coming back up to our quad stretch. So find your balance, bend the back knee, grab the foot, and then tuck the pelvis under. Try not to let your back arch like this. We wanna tuck the tailbone under now, not lift it up. Tuck it under, draw your belly button in, and feel the stretch in the front of the knee that's down. If this bothers your knee that's down on the mat, you could double up your mat there and make it more cushiony, or you could make like a little donut out of, actually I've rolled up a pillowcase and kind of made like a little donut to put the knee down on, just to take the pressure off the kneecap or the growth plate if you have like an Osgood-Schlatter kind of thing. And then put that foot down, hip flexor stretch. Whatever knee is down, that arm comes up, you're side bending away from it, the front arm's gonna come in front this way, and feel a nice stretch. To deepen the stretch, you lower your hips, you bring your hips forward and come into a nice stretch here. And then press back. You're gonna come into a plank position. So find your perfect plank, which means hands are under your shoulders, hips are in a straight line from your shoulders to your knees. And then we're gonna lift our hips up. Actually, you can keep your feet a little separated. Lift your hips up all the way up to the ceiling. We're coming into an inverted V. Press your arms into the floor. Lower your chest down to the mat. Feel a nice stretch down the back of your legs. If this feels too far out for you, you can just walk your hands or feet in a little closer to try to deepen the stretch. So we're trying to make a V. We're really lifting the tailbone up here, getting a nice stretch down the hamstrings and the back of the calves for sure. So allow your heels to sit down towards the mat a little bit. And now we're gonna come back to the plank, bring your knees down to the floor, bring the tops of your feet down. We're gonna come into an arch for spine extension. So we're going to open the shoulders, lift the heart. So we don't wanna just bend in the low back. We wanna lift our heart, open up our collarbones, gently gaze upwards. Feel a nice stretch down the whole front body and breathe into here. 20 seconds is a little long for this posture. Draw the abs in so it supports your low back. So you can move out of this one a little quicker and just do it 2 times. So we're gonna lift our hips up, come back into your inverted V. Here we're going to pedal the feet a little bit. So lower one heel down to the floor, the other one comes up, and then you're gonna switch. Make these a little bit more dynamic. So dynamic means moving in and out of the stretch. Static means that you're holding it there. You tend to use more dynamic stretching before an athletic performance and static afterwards. Knees down, tops of the feet down. Let's come back to that beautiful upward swan here. Lift your heart up. Even out the arch throughout your whole spine. So trying to lift the upper back as well. And then we're going to sit all the way back to child's pose. Heels are, your sits bones are drawing to your heels, tops of the feet are down, reaching your arms long, lowering your chest down to the mat, and allowing your forehead to rest on the mat if that range of motion is available to you. And just breathe here. This one you can definitely hold 20 to 30 seconds. And then roll up slowly. We're gonna come down onto our side from here. So laying down on one side, the bottom arm is gonna come under your head like a pillow, and the top arm is gonna extend out in front of you. Bend your knees and keep your knees together. You can even put a little prop between your knees to make sure that they stay stacked on top of each other. So if you have a ball or a pillow or a towel or a baseball glove, whatever it is kicking around, go ahead and put that between your knees to try to facilitate your knees staying right stacked on top of each other, or pretend. Arm is straight out in front. Make sure your head is in alignment. You don't want your head being forward like this. You want it kind of back. Arm is extended out in front. We're gonna inhale to prepare. As you exhale, float this arm up to the ceiling, rotating your chest up towards the sky, reaching your arm long, and trying to move the shoulder blade of the moving arm closer to the floor or the ground. Reaching the arm long, so we don't want to let it collapse. We're reaching, there's energy out through the fingers. And then inhaling and exhaling to close it back up. And the next time we're going to come into that same position, but we're going to circle it around. So we're going to draw a circle or a rainbow up over your head. As it comes to your ear, you're going to rotate your chest open to the ceiling. Circle the arm all the way around, coming all the way down to your hip. Jump over your body with your arm and do that again. Reaching all the way up, circling the arm all the way around. Allowing that shoulder blade to move as close to the floor as you can, and then jump the arm back up. Perfect. From here, you're coming onto your back. We're going to cross one leg over the other. It doesn't matter which way. And you're going to, if you feel a stretch here, stay here. If not, lift that bottom foot up off the floor, grab behind your thigh, and hold this here for a little posterior hip stretch. We've already done a little bit of this. This is an area that tends to get very tight. So we don't have to hold it quite as long as we did before, because you're also going to get a little stretch with this next one. Arms come out to a T. You're going to rotate away from it so that that foot is moving to the floor. Maybe it comes down to the floor. And so we're getting a nice rotation stretch in the back and some stretch in the outer hip. Breathe here. And then coming back up to center, we'll switch and do the other leg. Cross that one over. Bring the foot up off the floor, grab behind your thigh, and hold this for a little stretch. In this position, let the weight of your head relax. Give yourself some time. And once you know this little sequence of stretches, You don't have to do it with the timing that I set up here. You can kind of do it on your own time and spend more time on the stretches that your body needs more and less on the ones that it doesn't. And then you're gonna rotate that top foot down to the floor and feel a nice stretch. Keeping your arms out in the T will increase a little bit of diagonal fascial stretching. And then bring that back up. Uncross your legs, turn onto the other side. I'll show you from the other side here. Bottom arm is gonna be under your head like a pillow, neck is nice, relaxed, eyes are gazing forward. Inhale to prepare. As you exhale, we're gonna float this top arm up towards the sky, reaching your arm long, rotating your shoulders. So now I'm trying to get this shoulder blade all the way down on the mat. Keeping those knees really well stacked. Inhale here. Exhale to come all the way back. We're moving into the rainbow one. Inhale to prepare. Exhale as you circle the arm around, reaching the arm long, opening the chest as you need to. Circle the arm all the way down to your body. Jump over your hip and come back to the starting position. Inhale to prepare. Exhale as you circle. And jump over the hip. Turning back onto all fours. We're gonna come into a deep frog squat here. So you're in this position. I'll show you from this way too. So your heels are trying to get down, your knees are apart, your elbows are inside of your knees, and you can kind of push them out a little bit. And from here, we're gonna come into a roll up. So your hands are gonna come down to the mat. You're gonna send your hips up to the ceiling. You can pivot your heels so now you're in neutral. Your toes are facing forward. You're in a forward bend here. Bend your knees if you need to, but you wanna get your hips up to the ceiling as high as you can. Inhale here, so it looks like this from the side. And then as you exhale, tuck your tailbone under, rolling up one vertebrae at a time, all the way up to standing nice and tall. From here, we're going to do just a little wrist extension stretch. So you're gonna bring the backs of your hands together into like a prayer position behind your back. Now the tendency from here is to wanna arch your back. I want you to draw your rib cage in, tighten up your tummy, and keep that position behind your back. So you can be standing up nice and tall. I just wanted to make sure I was in the shot for you. So I'll be down here. And then open your hands out to the side, arching your back from here. And again, you can be here. Now we are arching the back. And then relax. Last stretch, we're gonna just do our triceps. You're gonna grab your elbow, bring it up over your head, pull it behind your head so that your arm is kind of coming down your back a little bit. And we'll hold that. And take that out, and let's switch and do the other side. And I think you could probably get this down to 8 minutes if you don't have me talking you through it and you learn the program. Stick with it. Like I said, it can be done every day. Best done warm. Best of luck to all you athletes. Bye-bye.